Welcome to the Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays podcast. I'm your host, your music midwife and nerdy hip hop homegirl, Coco Peila. I'm a multi-hyphenate hip hop artist, singer, songwriter, record producer, songwriting coach, and of course, an MC, which is part of what qualifies me to take you on this journey. This week, we are breaking down Perfect Love. Perfect Love is the first single off my next studio album, Confessions of a Black Feminist Rapper Part 2, trigger warning. So without further ado, we just gonna vibe out to the song. And then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about why I wrote the song, my writing process, my North Star and intention with writing the song, and invite you actually into a little bit of creative process yourself, as well as share some information about women and girls, the state of our lives globally, and how we can make that better. This is Perfect Love.
Searching for the perfect love. You can purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside your soul. Why you searching for the perfect love? You can purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside your soul.
Dear, it's some things I never told you. First time we got down, you didn't ask me, you just mowed through. Pushed up in my body, and left me cold, dude. Looked me in the eyes and said it wasn't, and I froze too. I was 3 the first time I met, took advantage. By the time I met you, I could escape, my body vanish. Endure discomfort and abuse, ignore it and abandon. My temple walls, my skin and bones, I fled them when it panicked. We was friends, I liked you, but I wasn't ready for it. After I laid awake and shocked my gut in knots of torment, as numbness set in, I imagined fairy tales above me. Maybe we could be the perfect couple, but then you shoved me away. Became so cold and distant, I thought that maybe it was something inside that I was missing, or something about the way I looked outside, my pride was drifting. Thank God my loved ones helped me, let me cry dry eyes and listen.
Why you searching for the perfect love? You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside your soul.
Dear Corina, it's some things I never told you. That shit that happened that night was foul and I'll uphold you. Honor and protect you, cherish, love and respect you. Anybody could get it, they try you, they gon' get checked too. It wasn't your fault that you froze up. It wasn't your fault what he chose, huh? It wasn't your fault that you gave up. Stop saying no, huh? It wasn't your fault, you didn't know, now you know, huh? You ain't no victim, baby, listen. Get your heel on till you glisten. We gon' do some counseling, therapy and shit, meditation, affirmation and shit, joy and laughter, celebrating and shit, prayer and gratitude, elevating and shit.
None of that shit should have ever happened, but now it happened. You learn that you're stronger than you could ever fucking imagine. I know that they hurt you, left you, now you feeling abandoned, but I'm here now. You can finally let your guard down. Why you searching for the perfect love? You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside your soul. Why you searching for the perfect love? You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for someone inside your soul.
So that was Perfect Love. And it's a heavy song, but it also is, to me, I created it, I wrote it as a blueprint. We talked last week about this next studio album, Trigger Warning, which is a part of the Confessions of a Black Feminist Rapper trilogy. And we talked about this album being a story, a part of a story that's being told backwards. Well, in part 3, Elevate, that was dropped in 2022, all the songs primarily are celebratory songs. Songs like Above That Black Joy, songs like Love Me All, songs like there's every single song is a song that songs like Ting, songs like Pretty Girls. And I wanted to start us out on this journey with the survival and the triumph. Because oftentimes when we hear about hard things or traumatizing things or painful things, we don't get to know how things end up. But I also wanted to start out with part 3, Elevate, in this trilogy because I wanted to anchor us in kind of the light at the end of the tunnel and the calm that comes after the storm. Perfect Love, and in a moment we're going to actually break it down chorus by verse. But Perfect Love and most of my songs pretty much are written and created as medicine. And so the chorus is always an anchor that is meant to get stuck in your head and is meant to actually help your brain build new neural pathways, right? We want to have something repeating unconsciously in our minds that teaches our brain how to focus on our power, our strength, our goodness, or disrupts the status quo in our mind, any limiting beliefs. Perfect Love also is called Perfect Love because I come from a background of like mixed spiritualities, and some of the folks in my family are really devout in the Christian practice, and it's a central theme of John 4:18. It says, "Perfect love casts out fear." And people talk about God, the creator, the universe, the Most High, as being this, across all the spiritualities and religious practices in my family, one thing that I noticed growing up was that no matter what the name was that people called God, it was always associated with this profoundly powerful, loving force. No one, no matter the name they called God, would tell me that this was a force of evil, that this was a force that was tearing people apart or breaking people down. Across all the different beliefs, even though there were different creation stories, everyone agreed that this force, this source, this being was loving. And so in Perfect Love, I feel like when we're connected to loving ourselves, we're connected to our divinity, and we're connected to the fact that we are, children of God. Some people might say like we're all, made up of the same matter that the stars are made up of. Therefore, like a part of the universe, all interconnected. again, no matter what the spiritual lens or religious belief you have, to me, what that means is that I was created by a being that loves me unconditionally. And because I was created with that unconditional, that perfect love, it means that I have access to that love within myself. And also that even though I may have character flaws or I may not fit the mold of standard beauty or conventional beauty, or maybe I have a blind spot and a struggle that is causing me to make all these mistakes and step on hella people's toes, and whatever way that I'm growing, or I've been called down to this earth to grow, to elevate myself, my bloodline, my family's bloodline. Regardless of that process, I always am entitled to like love myself deeply. And there's ways that we get hurt in our lives, especially in our early childhood, that sets us up to sometimes seek out conditions that are comfortable in that they remind us of the trauma that we went through as young people. And perfect love was one of those examples. And in Confessions of a Black Feminist Rapper Part 2, this next studio album, trigger warning, that's the part of the journey that I wanted to take folks on. I'm telling this story, but I want us to start connecting the dots. The places that we struggle interpersonally, whether it be in romantic relationships, in professional relationships, in believing in ourselves, in being able to connect to a vision that guides our life and our work in the world. Any place where we're consistently stuck or going around in circles or kind of coming up against the same issues, we can always trace it back to our early childhood. Generally, for sure, that first year of our life, the first 5 years and the first 10 years are incredibly set up our lens and perception of the world for the rest of our life, including what's possible for us, what we deserve, whether or not we're worthy of love, and what love means, what relationships means, like all that. So my intention when I wrote Perfect Love was, it was both a conversation with myself, a conversation with my inner child, and a conversation with a past person, I guess, that had harmed me in a relationship. And I was just, when I was in the writing session, the hook came first, and then the line just came into my head, like, dear, but I didn't want to say their name, and so I paused and imagined it like I was writing a letter with a blank space. And then I was like, what would I say to this person if I wanted to talk to them? What are some things that I was never able to quite say or like stand up for myself about? Okay, so so that's where Perfect Love is coming from. I want to, let me see. Trying to be better about time management with y'all. What else do I want to say? I want to go through the song verse by verse and just spit it a cappella so you can hear the words without the melodies, without the instrumentation, without the vocal arrangements in the background. Because as a producer, the record producer of that song, I always create my music so that it can be a sonic experience that like wraps you up, and you may not even be consciously absorbing the lyrics. But as a MC and as a songwriter, each word is there for a reason. So the chorus goes, why you searching for the perfect love? You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you searching for is the one inside yourself. Why you searching for the perfect love? You can't purchase it, you perfect love. Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you looking for is the one inside your soul. And to me, I always feel like God lives inside my soul. To me, God is outside of me, but I also feel like when I'm confused or I'm overwhelmed or I'm discouraged about what's happening outside of me, I get super quiet, and I feel like that quiet, like I feel like our souls will always guide us. So to me, it's like sometimes the world will make us go through certain type of experiences that make us forget about who we are and like I said, our divine value. But when we get quiet and we reconnect to our soul, we can reconnect to that big, beautiful, powerful, loving force that created us, and that what's the word, like never ending source, like a infinite well of love. And from that place, when we feel like we can't love ourselves or we can't protect ourselves, we can draw from that well and feel that love for ourselves. Verse 1, dear blank, there's some things I never told you. First time we got down, you didn't ask me, you just mowed through. Pushed up in my body, and left me cold, dude. Looked me in the eyes and said it wasn't in, I froze too. I was 3 the first time a man took advantage. By the time I met you, I could escape my body, vanish. Endure discomfort and abuse, ignore it and abandon. My temple walls, my skin and bones, I fled them when in panic, We was friends, I liked you, but I wasn't ready for it. After I laid awake in shock, my gut in knots of torment. As numbness set in, I imagined fairy tales above me. Maybe we could be the perfect couple, but then you shoved me away. Became so cold and distant, I thought that maybe it was something inside that I was missing, or something about the way I looked outside. My pride was drifting. Thank God my loved ones held me, let me cry, dried eyes, and listened, So again, with verse 1, I wanted to, it's a heavy topic, it's hard. Many of us have been through this type of abuse and mistreatment and harm and experienced it or have witnessed it, both at a young age or in our older age. But I wanted to break down kind of, and you'll see this throughout the course of the Confessions of a Black Feminist Rapper Part 2, trigger warning, this next album, you'll see that a lot of the times that's what's happening in the songs where I talk about an experience and then I draw the connection back to early childhood. And I always think, okay, when's the first time I experienced something like this? And I wanted to, because I felt like at the time when I was writing this album, or this song, excuse me, I felt like it wasn't enough complex analysis about women's lives. Like, yes, you see the bad bitch trope being performed, and she's cutthroat, and she's this and she's that, and she don't put up with this, but why? Yes, you hear these songs about mistreatment or even domestic violence or sexual assault or these things. Well, you don't so much hear about sexual assault in songs, but this is a big part of women and girls' lives. And I would say also men and boys, but this is a part of women and girls' lives that doesn't get talked about, but that absolutely impacts everything from our ability to connect and maintain intimacy and closeness to how we feel walking alone on a street with no lights on it at night. So it's a big part of our lives that we have to navigate, but it's so invisibilized because sexism kind of dismisses the landscape of our lives. And I think as a Black woman who was once a little Black girl, this is so much of how anti-Black racism colors our lives, and the inability of the society to integrate that into its understanding of how we experience anti-Black racism as girls and women, Black girls and women, is like, it's a function, a mechanism of it, because Anyway, so I wanted to both speak truth to power in the verse and talk about something that's taboo to talk about. I wanted to speak truth to power because I know that this person would likely end up listening to it. And even though I never pressed charges on them, I wanted them to like have something to hear, to know like this is how this impacted me. This is my form of standing up for myself. But I also wanted to kind of make the connections and offer the analysis so that maybe other women and girls who have experienced something like this could also start to draw the connections for themselves. Because I personally in my time, doing therapy and all these different healing practices have found, it's not just what happened to me in this relationship in my early 20s. Something about the landscape of my childhood set me up to not be able to lightweight peep game, like see those cues ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll say this last thing before we go into verse 2, which is that I remember when this happened to me, and I remember how I froze up and how quiet I got. And I remember after it had happened, and I was really stunned by how shocked I was and my inability. I had imagined if someone ever did something like that, that I would be able to immediately just stand up and cuss them out and so on and so forth. But what happened is I realized that what had happened to me as a little girl still had its claws in me in a way that made it hard for me both to make a good choice about who I put myself around and how I was when I was with them, but also like to be able to stand up for myself in real time. There was a quietness, there was a shutdown, there was kind of like what do you call it? Like a way that I went into like an autopilot, and that autopilot that I went into in the shock made me know that, I've gone through this so many times before. And then it made me question, well, how did I develop that type of autopilot? And then it made me go back and be like, these things that happened when I was little, I guess I'm not over it in the way that I thought. I guess it actually has set me up to be vulnerable for certain types of mistreatment and certain personality types. And then I, of course, wanted to talk through what did I do in order to heal from it, and how did it impact me? Because sometimes we go through traumatizing experiences and we think we blame ourselves, or we don't seek the healing, or we don't get the healing. We don't have access to the resources. And so, you know how people will say, like, when someone gets locked up and they come out of prison, they're never the same. Or you have people in your life, or even you yourself, you've been through a certain traumatizing experience, and people will say, like, they were never the same after that. We've had so many experiences like that, but because we were young, people dismissed it, or maybe we blocked it out. So I also wanted to kind of lay the foundation, narrate what I did, and share, like, this is how I got through it, I thought that maybe it was something inside that I was missing, or something about the way I looked outside. My pride was drifting. Thank God my loved ones held me, let me cry, dried eyes, and listen. It is essential that we have safe spaces where we can go and cry our hearts out and scream and stomp and just fall out and lay our burdens down when we go through these types of things. And then it goes back to the chorus. Why you searching for the perfect love? now that I've told the story of having been through this experience, the verses are always a response, right? It's a call and response between people, but also within a song. That chorus is asking, well, why? Why were you searching for quote unquote the perfect love in this situation that was unsafe, and that ended up harming you? And the verses are part of the answer to say, well, this is why. This is what was going on. Verse 2. Dear Corina, there's some things I never told you. That shit that happened that night was foul and I'll uphold you. Honor and protect you, cherish, love, and respect you. Anybody could get it. They try you, they gonna get checked too. It wasn't your fault that you froze up. It wasn't your fault what he chose, huh? It wasn't your fault that you gave up. Stop saying no, huh? It wasn't your fault you didn't know. Now you know, huh? You ain't no victim. Baby, listen. Get your heal on till you glisten. We gonna do some counseling, therapy and shit, meditation, affirmation and shit, joy and laughter, celebrating and shit, prayer and gratitude, elevating and shit. It took me a long time between writing the first verse, like a couple years, and writing the second verse where I realized, well, like, how do I want to close this song? And I realized, like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life focused on this person who made a really poor decision out of their trauma and harmed me. I want to focus my attention on my inner child, on the little child that when I went into shock was kind of in the driver's seat in a way, right? The one that went quiet, that kind of couldn't figure out how to fight. And I consider myself to be like the mama of my inner child, like the part of me that was never parented by my parents. So I thought, let me talk to her. Let me write something to her, because actually this person that harmed me is not the main character. Like, she's the main character. My little girl should have always been the main character in her life, in my life. And so let me dedicate a verse to her. The bridge goes, none of that shit should have ever happened, but now it happened. You learned that you're stronger than you could ever fucking imagine. I know that they hurt you, left you, now you feeling abandoned, but I'm here now. You could finally let your guard down. So again, and you'll hear it in a song, that bridge actually is played low in the background under verse 2, and then we bring it up to the foreground in the bridge. And it's a way of reconciling. Like, so many things happen to us and in the world and in our lives that should never come to pass. And we get to choose to either allow those things to define us, but they don't define us, and they don't have to define us. We can transform, ourselves and our circumstances. So, and then of course, the chorus comes again. Why are you searching for the perfect love? Don't be searching for the perfect love unless the love you're searching for is the one inside yourself. So, all that being said, this month, the month of February, we're going to, as promised, we're going to talk about the fact that we are all survivors. We're all survivors of something, although not all of us have experienced domestic violence or sexual assault or sexual abuse. In a way, the society itself has traumatized us. And there's intergenerational trauma. Even maybe we didn't experience it, but our parents did, or our people did, or there were wars waged against us where violence and the threat of violence was used. And there's so much in the media as well. So I want us to start thinking about the ways that this has impacted us culturally and subconsciously and within the cultures of our families. Between now and next week, I want you to ask yourself, what stories and experiences have I gone through? Who do I need to write a letter to? Myself, my inner child, someone I wasn't able to stand up to in the past. Take 5 minutes, set a timer, and just let your heart flow. Dear blank, it's some things I never told you. And see what comes out of your pen. Hip hop is a conversation. So what the fuck is you saying? What are you calling for? What are you responding with? How do your actions speak volumes about your values? And if your actions and values are out of alignment, how can you match them up? It's not too late to align your actions and your values. Anyway, I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Love y'all. For real, for real. What's up, y'all? I just wanted to make sure to invite you to collect the print. As you know, we have a limited edition 12 by 12 high quality print. And this is a collaboration with an amazing Black female artist named China Brown, who designed this. You can frame it, you can put it up in your office, you can put it up in your home, you can gift it to somebody. On the back is a wonderful QR code that you can scan, and it downloads the single, the Love Me All Acoustic, which is not going to be on my studio album. It's not on any of the streaming platforms. It's like a special, very limited release. And just for the month of February, I'm actually going to include a QR code so that you can also download Perfect Love, which up until now has only been available with the capsule pre-orders. So just for the month of February, y'all gonna get 2 songs with this. If you wanna know more about it, you wanna order a pack with all the dope ass colors, or you just wanna get a single, you can go to cocopeila.com/the print. This is for every Black woman that gave the culture everything and got crumbs in return. We are investing in building a different system that really honors our art, our songs, our visual art, our contributions, our analysis as fine art. And I'm so excited to have y'all. So go snatch this shit up before it goes, because it's not gonna be here for long. And yeah, thank you.